Hey, welcome. Today we're going to dig into a really powerful idea about downsizing that comes from a pretty simple script. It's a perspective that, honestly, it kind of flips the whole idea of what it means to have less on its head.
So, the source material kicks things off with this statement right here. It's a bold claim, right? In a world that's constantly screaming, more is better, this suggests the total opposite. It's saying that real freedom is actually found by subtracting, not by adding.
And yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? It's one thing to talk about freedom as this big idea, but what does that actually feel like when you're downsizing your life? Let's take a look at how the source material breaks that down. First up, the source argues that this whole journey, it doesn't start with packing up boxes. Nope. It actually starts with a huge shift in how you think about everything. This right here, this gets right to the heart of it. We're so often conditioned to see downsizing as a sacrifice, a loss of all the stuff we've collected, stuff that can feel like a part of who we are. But the source material just flat out challenges that idea. It's saying we're not losing anything at all. We're actually making a trade. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. You've got the two mindsets side by side. On the left, there's the common view, which is all about losing things, focusing on the physical stuff. But on the right, that new perspective, it's all about gaining a lifestyle. That's the key. You're trading physical possessions for a whole new way of living. So what is this lifestyle anyway? The source calls it a lighter lifestyle. The idea is you're less weighed down, both physically and mentally, by all your possessions. And that frees you up to be more intentional, to focus your time and your energy on experiences and choices that, actually matter to you.
Okay, so you've made that mental shift, but the source is really clear that this isn't a journey you have to take alone. In fact, it says you probably shouldn't. And that brings us to the power of support.
This is some of the most practical advice in the whole script. It gets that even with the best mindset, this process can be tough. Having a community, having people around you, is presented as the real key to making it not just doable, but actually successful.
So, where do you find this support? Well, the source points to three key pillars: your friends, your family, and online communities. It makes the case that each one of these groups gives you a unique and really vital kind of help for what can be a super emotional journey.
And here's how it breaks down. Your friends, they're your cheerleaders, right? They keep your spirits up. Your family can often offer real wisdom and practical guidance. And then you have online groups, which provide that incredible feeling of shared experience, connecting you with people who are going through the exact same thing. All right, so we've talked about the mindset and the support system. Now let's get to the why. What's the end game? What is this whole process really all about?
The source brings us right back to this main theme. And just listen to those words. Feels lighter and more intentional. See, this isn't just about getting a smaller house or having fewer things. It's about getting to a certain emotional and mental state. It's about how you feel every single day. And here's the crucial takeaway. Underneath all the logistics, the sorting, the selling, the moving, there is one single goal. It's the search for a better, simpler, and ultimately happier chapter of your life. It's about redefining your quality of living based on freedom and intention, not on how much square footage you have or how much stuff you own.
Okay, so now let's pivot and look at how the source material itself wraps up its message. It moves from the why behind this philosophy to the how of actually doing something about it.
So after laying out this whole philosophy of downsizing as a gain, not a loss, the original script finishes up with a very direct call to action. It offers a path forward for anyone who's ready to take that next step. And here you have it. In the spirit of showing you the source in its entirety, this slide presents the contact details and that call to action exactly as they appear in the original script. This is the conclusion that the author of the material provided. And that pretty much brings us to the end of our explainer. The source leaves us with this really compelling idea of a lighter lifestyle. So the question to kind of sit with is this. If you had less weighing you down, what would you make room for? What new experiences or passions or freedoms would you fill all that new space with? Definitely something to think about.